Welcome to this video, which is about true geocentrism. This is a contribution to astrology, and it's targeted to very few astrologers, and it's only those astrologers who has come to the realization that there is a major misunderstanding of the solar system and a major misunderstanding of the world that we're living in. And the basic misunderstanding is that the heliocentric model is completely wrong and that we are living on a flat plane of existence. I repeat, we live on a flat plane of existence. That means that the Earth is a stationary plane, which is astrology always has been saying, and that we are looking at the sky the way it appears. And that the way it appears is that the sun is moving across the sky, and so do the planets. Okay, but anyway, so this is being explained in many other videos by competent people, and there is an overwhelming amount of evidence that the Earth is flat and not a round spinning ball. So this video is not about convincing you about this, and if you haven't grasped this yet and you haven't come to this realization, this video is not for you. This video is for those who has understood this and also know their astrology, because this has a huge influence astrology, and the major misunderstanding and a big mistake in astrology is that the zodiac chart is wrong, completely wrong. It is reversed. So what I'm going to present to you here in this video is the natural zodiac, what it really looks like. So the thing is that what we need to understand is that the way the sun is moving, okay? And so when you look at the chart that is being used today, the sun makes two rotations in the chart. One rotation, which is clockwise, which is during the day, and the other is counterclockwise, how the sun moves through the year, okay? And this is explained because in the heliocentric model, the Earth is rotating, and so there is two rotations. There is the rotation of the Earth around during the day and night, during the 24 hours, and there is the other rotation of the sun going through the zodiac through the year, okay? And the way that the chart is set up today, the way we look at the astrological chart, it makes perfect sense if you accept the heliocentric model. If you don't accept the heliocentric model and say that the Earth is a stationary plane and the sun is moving, okay, then it doesn't make sense that the sun is supposed to move in two directions. So if the sun is the moving object here, the sun can only rotate in one direction, which is clockwise, and there is no anti-clockwise rotation of the sun. And so what is happening in when you look at the normal chart is that you go backwards through the zodiac. So you start by reading the chart, the zodiac, anti-clockwise. And the thing is that it doesn't make sense, and particularly not during the day, because then you should say if the sun rises by the ascendant, then let's say it rises in Aries, and then the next sign the sun will go into would be Pisces and Aquarius, and you would go backward through the zodiac, and that doesn't make sense at all. So the thing is that the sun goes through the zodiac during the day, and it does the same thing during the year. And the only way to make that right is to reverse the zodiac and make it go clockwise. And if you just take a look at this, I think, at least when I do that, it gives a real sense of relief, because this is a really very beautiful and orderly zodiac. It looks like this. This is what it looks like. And so the sun rises in the east, and the zenith of the zodiac is the south, not the north. Okay, and so you start off by going into Aries, and then it goes into Taurus, and then it goes into Gemini, and so on. And so you follow the zodiac clockwise. Okay, and the same goes for the houses. So what is called the 12th house is the first house. It does not make sense that the moment that you wake up in the morning, let's say you wake up by the sunrise, and the first area of life you go into is the 12th house, which is the kind of the subconscious area. No, you start by going into the house of Aries, which is you're active, and you're starting the cycle of the day, right? And so therefore also the houses should be reversed. So what is we were calling the 12th house is the first house, what we call the 11th house is the second house, what we call the 10th house is the third house, and so on. So the whole thing, so the charts, the whole zodiac wheel needs to be reversed and going clockwise. All right. So this is the main message of this video, really, is that we need, for those who adhere to what I call true geocentrism, which is taking into account how the real world really works. If you take a look at this image here, you will see clearly that it is the stars that are moving. It's the sky that is moving. This image is taken as a night photo, which shows that the Earth is stationary, and it is the stars that is moving. All stars except for Polaris. All right, Polaris is stationary, at least in. Actually, Polaris also has a cycle, but that's a much longer cycle, which is the true explanation for the regression of the zodiac and the bigger cycle of the great year and the 2,000 years of the sign of Pisces and Aquarius age and so on. That's another story, but still, in this image you can see that the Polaris is stationary. Okay. And all the planets are moving. And so in astrology, there is stars. That's okay. So there is fixed stars and there is wandering stars. And the wandering stars is what we call planets. But anyway, so this is, of course, I mean, you need to do your homework on flat Earth here. But the thing is that when you have drawn the conclusion that the Earth is flat, and so we need to make changes in astrology accordingly, and we definitely need a new astrological chart, which is clockwise and not counterclockwise. And there is something sinister and actually evil about turning things around and presenting them reversed. It's a kind of a satanistic technique, in fact, okay? And that is being done with the zodiac. It's pretty serious business. So what is actually the zodiac? The zodiac is actually a clock, all right? And so the handles of the clock is going clockwise, not anti-clockwise. So this needs to be corrected. And it would be really nice for those geniuses that are making astrological programs that they could make a variation for those who adhere to true geocentrism, and then have the zodiac the way it's supposed to be. All right. So, but anyway, you need to understand. So what's happening when you have true geocentrism is that the stars and the planets are a horizontal plane, which is moving over the flat Earth, and the distance is not more than a couple of thousand kilometers. Okay. The sun is not 149 million kilometers out in space somewhere, because there is no space, because we are in a closed system. We are under the dome. Okay. So this is some new concepts, and if you're completely new to this, I don't think you've been into this video this far anyway, and you would think I'm completely idiot, all right? because we're so conditioned, we're so kind of brainwashed into the heliocentric model. And I'm surprised when I present this to astrologers who has a kind of concepts regarding the solar system and so on. They're not able to take this on board at all. I meet the same kind of resistance and from astrologers, because they probably work so hard just to understand astrology, that they just can't handle it when someone comes and says that the heliocentric model is completely wrong. So it doesn't kind of change the interpretation of astrology. You will still use the same concepts of interpreting a chart, but the chart needs to be reversed, and so having a more natural zodiac, which is in correspondence with the real world, and not in correspondence with a completely synthetic and false presentation of the solar system. That's all we need. And so in practicality, it doesn't make that much difference when it comes to understanding the chart and interpreting the meaning of the relationship between the stars and the planets and so on. So this was just a little realization for my part of something that I've been wondering about for quite some time, of how to adjust the horoscope and the chart to the actual true geocentrism, which is that the Earth is a flat stationary plane, and it's the planets that is rotating, and the sun is not going in two directions. It is only going in one direction, which is clockwise, and that the zodiac chart is actually a clock, a true clock, which shows the movement of the planets during the day, and there is you can actually divide, you divide the period between sunrise and sunset. You divide that into six sessions, and then you get the natural hours, and each hour is ruled by the sign, which is according to the ascendant. So if the sun rises in Aries, then the first hour will be by Aries, and the second hour will be in Taurus, and so on, and the third hour will be in Gemini, and so on. And so therefore each hour of the day has a certain energy which is in accordance with the natural movement. Okay, this is hard to figure out if you don't have this natural chart, because otherwise it will go the other way around. Okay, so this is just a contribution to the very, very, very small community out there who adheres to true geocentrism, and my contribution to introducing what the zodiac chart really should look like. And I can only kind of encourage those people who can make computer programs, if they could have an option and also creating computer programs which shows the true natural chart. Okay. So that was just a inspiration I had this morning to make this video, and I hope this is useful. And if this awakes curiosity, you should definitely look into true geocentrism, which is a true revolution for astrology, because that makes astrology into natural science, and we can really understand why astrology works. And that the planets and the stars are the mathematical combinations between the planets and the stars is the kind of computer language of our virtual reality, which is the way I perceive it. But that's another story. But the only thing here was to point out this chart. So have a nice day.